Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Natalie with Natalie's Closet, and this is WIP Wednesday. Natalie's Closet. Okay, so welcome back everyone. Welcome to all of our new subscribers, and welcome back to all of our existing subscribers. Today is WIP Wednesday. I have a couple of WIPs I'm going to go through. Unfortunately, I don't have the one finished object I was hoping to have. But I will show it as a WIP again. And I have a small announcement that I'm going to talk about that I'm going to be doing in June. I mentioned it in my live last night, but figured I'd go ahead and mention it on here as well. And that's basically all I have for today. I did also want to go over my other channel as well. I'll do that in a second. But if you are new to this channel, I would love it and appreciate it if you'd be willing to hit the subscribe button down below, as well as the notification bell next to that, and hit it to all so that you're notified anytime I post a video. And if you're willing to give this video a thumbs up as well as share it, that would be amazing as well. I'm really excited to grow this channel and see where it goes and see where this journey takes us together. So, all right, all of that being said, one of the reasons why I said to make sure to hit the notification bell and put it to all is because we've been talking to different content creators and my friends. I've noticed that outside of comments kind of being wonky right now, where you'll get a notification but that they're not there and all this other stuff, and subscribers kind of coming and going and then having to resubscribe. It's a good thing to always, if you're not getting notifications from your favorite channels, it's always a good thing to check to make sure first that you're subscribed still, and if not, to resubscribe, but also to check to make sure that the notification bell is set to all. I've actually recently gone through after having a conversation with my friend Catherine, I went through 5 newer channels that I just joined within the last maybe 5 days or so. And I know that I put the notification bell to all, and I don't know if there was an update on YouTube or whatever, but 3 of those channels, after she realized the all button wasn't hit on my other channel, I went and checked, and 3 of the 5 channels that I recently subscribed to were all turned to personalized. And I don't know what personalized is, but I realized I wasn't getting notifications from them. So that's just something to throw out there in case you're seeing that you're not getting notifications for videos coming up. Check the notification bell, as well as if you're still subscribed to the channel. That is something I realized with my other channel, which is Natalie and Mom's Kitchen. The link is in the description box below. Yesterday I was speaking to a couple people privately, and they said, we can't wait until you post another recipe. And I said, I did Monday night. And they're like, we didn't get a notification. And then when I was doing my live last night, several other people said, we can't wait until you put the next recipe on the channel. And I was like, I did Monday night. And they were like, but we didn't get a notification. So I don't know if they've been unsubscribed, if the bell was turned to personalized. I don't know. But that is something that's going on. So, but what I wanted to let you know, in case you are following my other channel and you think I'm not putting recipes, I mean, there are only 2 food recipes on there so far, but I did find it strange that I was having really low views. I had 9 views in a 24-hour period on my last recipe, and I was like, well, that's kind of weird. That may have been the reason. Now I know many people didn't get notifications. So that was a long story that I wasn't able to make short, but that's the bottom line. So, but if you haven't checked out my other channel and you're interested in different recipes and stuff, feel free to go ahead and check it out. And if you are subscribed but haven't been getting notifications, I am active on there. So just check that out. So thank you for that. I appreciate and love you all so dearly for all the support you give me on both channels. You guys are amazing. All right, so next I'm going to do the announcement. Like I mentioned on my live last night, for the during this whole craziness the last couple of months and the shutdown and stuff, I know that a lot of small businesses have been affected. Whether it's a small business from home like I have, that is basically an online store, or, you know, you count on shows, you know, craft shows and stuff like that, which were either not happening or whatever the case is. Whether it's that type of a business or a small brick and mortar store, or you have a restaurant or something, but you all know I love supporting small businesses. That's a passion of mine. Whether it's local, whether it's online, whatever, I love supporting small businesses. And one thing I thought I could try to do to help support the small businesses that have been affected, even though my channel is small, you never know who may see it. And I actually got the idea from our Tribe of Many. It's a channel that I follow that I really have nothing in common with them, but I absolutely love their channel. I mean, it's a mom and dad of 10, and they did a toddler challenge yesterday, and she made the same announcement, and I had commented to the video saying, do you mind if I borrow this idea? She's like, steal it, no problem, have fun with it, great job, whatever. So for the month of June, anybody that follows my channel, if you have a small business, I'm not talking about just a YouTube channel, not that that's not a thing, but if you make things or sell things and you have an online store, or you have an actual brick and mortar store, whether it's a restaurant, you know, items that you sell, whatever the case is, if you have a small business and you would like to get a shout out from me on my channel, I'm only going to be checking my P.O. box for this. So, you know, please don't like email or message or text or whatever the case is. But if you would like to send me like even a little card with something you want me to say about your business, or if there's a sample of something that you make that you would like me to show, as well as something you want me to say, send it to my P.O. box. The P.O. box address is in the description box below. And the entire month of June, for anybody that sends me anything that may want to get a shout out on whatever video is next after I receive their whatever it is they send me, I will go ahead and do a shout out at the end of the video. This is one little thing I can do to try to help small businesses, and hopefully it'll do something for you guys. I don't know if it will or not, and I don't know that I'll have anybody actually sending me anything or wanting the shout out. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just throwing it out there. So if you're interested in getting a shout out, you can send me the website, whether it's your selling website or whatever the case is, your YouTube channels, your Etsy shops, your whatever, any way that people can contact you. And if you want to just send me, if you don't want to, I know shipping is crazy right now, so if you don't want to actually send an item, but you want to send me something to say about it, just send a card with a write-up, ways people can contact you or find you. That's something I want to do for small businesses in June. So that starts today or whenever. I mean, just feel free to send it to our P.O. box. Okay, so I took care of all of that business. Now on to WIPs. I was hoping to have all, I think 7 of the shawls that I was wanting to get done ultimately started. But over the last week, you all know that I had a back issue last week, and that kind of went into the weekend. Plus I had stuff that had to be done. I just didn't have any time to crochet. So I only have, I think, 5 WIPs. I was able to start 3 other ones between yesterday and today. So that I can have something to show. Unfortunately, my Adeline shawl is not done as a finished object like I was hoping it was going to be, even though there's only 1 row left. I know, but I promise that it will be a finished object next week, no matter what I have to do to get that done. But seriously, I need to learn how to sew. I don't need to have another craft to work on. But I also can't afford to invest in project bags like I would like. And I'm like running into using even plastic bags from my local yarn shop, because she has really pretty drawstring bags that has her name on it. They're clear, but I'm like basically using anything and everything I can get my hands on at this point, which is fine, but I really need to learn how to sew so I can make some project bags for myself. I do have, I did want to show, I know I've shown it on my live, and I know a couple of you have actually ordered it from the woman that made it for me, which thank you for that. And I love that you guys are sporting some bling. But for those of you that haven't seen it, I have had a personalized bag made up. It's just a standard canvas bag. There's no pockets inside, but it's great as a project bag. Natalie's Closet on YouTube. The bling isn't really showing up, but it is super blingy, especially in the sun and under certain lights. I love wearing this with my blingy slip-on tennis shoes and my sunglasses, and I have a shirt that has Natalie's Closet on YouTube in the same bling. I love it because I'm like a disco ball, and you all know I love blingy and bright colors. Well, these are black, I know, but it's bling, so it works. But I just had to show that because I really love this bag. The woman that made it, she has a great business, and she has such quality items, and she is such a great woman, a very nice woman, and just I just love her stuff. So anyway, I will show the Adeline shawl first. I do need to be careful because I didn't put a stitch marker again at the end, and I don't want to lose my stitch. You know what? I have a stitch marker right here. I thought I did. Hold on a second. I do. These are not my favorite, but I'm gonna throw one on just so that I don't lose the stitch and it come all out, and yeah, then I'd be all sad later. All right, so oops, it's upside down. This is the Adeline shawl. I made it larger than Shandy at Expression Fiber Arts has it. She only used, oops, there's her hair. She only used 2 hanks of her resilient sock weight yarn. And anybody that knows Shandy knows she is like tiny, 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 tiny. And so beautiful, so sweet. But the shawl at the size that it would have been had I stopped where she did, just on somebody my size, it just wasn't going to work. So I actually used two full hanks, and I'm going to say probably 2.5 hanks, maybe 2 3/4. So I didn't use that much more, but I did use the 2 full hanks for the actual shawl, and then finished off. It's a 9-row beginning, and then the last 4 rows you repeat throughout the rest of the shawl. So once I got to the end of the shawl, or I finished off, I started a 3rd hank and finished off the final 4 rows, and then I had a 4th hank that was a little bit more colorful, of the same confetti yarn or colorway. I went ahead and I started that one for the 4-row border. You actually can't even see the difference. I mean, you really can't tell on the bottom, but the 4th and final row is going to have picots at the edge right here. There's going to be a picot right there. So I'm really excited to get this done. Seagal, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm using one of your stitch markers for the center of the shawl. So yeah, that is the Adeline that I've been working on like crazy now, or for a while. But I did start a second Adeline. I will show you that in a minute, with a less crazy colorway, because you really, this colorway doesn't do the pattern justice, and I wanted to have one where you can actually see the pattern, but this colorway is like incredible. I loved it so much. I was like, that's it, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. So when she released this pattern and said it was the resilient sock weight, I was like, oh my gosh, I got it, gotta do it. So I did it. Now, there's another pattern. All of these are patterns from her site. The Adeline is actually a pattern she designed. There is the Chris pattern. It's KRYSS. That one is, what is it called? It's a triangle, but it starts out thin and then, widens out. And it's got color changes. Now, I don't know if you remember when I was going through all of on a live, I was going through all of the yarn that I had from Shandy. I had more of the confetti yarn that I didn't realize I had. And I also had 7 mini hanks of the same fiber base and size in a rainbow color. And I think it was Leanne mentioned, oh my gosh, put them together. Well, the solids actually matched exactly the colors in the confetti. So I was like, well, I was really thinking about using the minis for a blanket. It was only like 1,250 yards, I think, total with all 7 colors. But she's like, yeah, but put them together and you can make a shawl. And I was like, oh, you know what? That's a great idea. Well, at first I was thinking about doing the Lilith, but the Chris seemed a little bit more, I don't know. It seemed like it would work out better because the color changes is where I'm having an issue. Now, I've worked this up and frogged it a million times. I've probably finished it like twice over, but I just can't get the colors to work the way I think it would look the best. So I'm still working on it. I only have the tail. I started back up with this tail, so I'm kind of back to where I was the last time I showed it, I think. It's a beautiful pattern. I don't know if you can actually see any part of it, but it is, I think it's a 2 or 3 row repeat, and that was with the purple. And in the same bag, like I said, this is actually one of Expression Fiber Arts bags. I was then thinking about going to the blue and then switching over to the confetti, and then going into, I think it was like the yellow and then the orange, or no, then the teal, then the green, then the confetti, and then the yellow and orange, and then the confetti, and then the pink, and then the confetti, and then if need be, start over. The only thing is because these are mini hanks, I have to be careful that if I start them over a second time, I'm already going to be getting at the wider end of the triangle. I need to make sure that I'm going to have enough of the yarn to make, unless I just finish off, stop at a row where I'm ending on that color and just not make that section as thick. Does that make sense? I don't know. So this is a serious work in progress, and there's a lot of frogging going on and stuff. And honestly, I'm not changing the pattern as far as the stitches. I'm changing the pattern as far as the way the color changes are, because they only use 3, I think they used 3 colors in the sample that they made for the pattern release. I'm using 8. So I'm changing the color changing ways, but yeah, that one's going to take a while, honestly, but it'll get done at some point. Okay, so those are 2 whips. Then, okay, I just like quickly cleared off my desk enough so that I had room for the bags so I could do the video. And yeah, that's about all the room I have. All right, let me show you the second Adeline. This bag is a bag that Catherine, well, we're kind of doing a trade. I'm getting some stuff together for her, but she sent me this beautiful bag that she made. She did the lace work over here, and of course this has a Swarovski crystal button, which yeah, that's just what I love. And then, you know, the bag on the inside, awesome. So this was, thankfully, I had this bag because I was able to throw in the second Adeline in there. This is the first 9 rows. So it's got the first 5 rows and then the 4 rows that are going to repeat the rest of the way. This colorway, oh son of a gun, I don't know if I have the, this is by Long Dog Yarn. It's a fingering weight yarn from them. I thought I had the label in here, and you know what? I think I may have thrown it into one of the other bags by accident. I think this is Hydrangea, if I'm not mistaken, by Long Dog Yarn. Again, I don't have a stitch marker in here, but it's a more solid colorway, so it's not going to be as crazy. So I think it's going to bring out the pattern a bit better, because it's like pineapple, kind of sort of like pineapples that are brought out in it. But again, this is just the first 9 rows. I don't know if you can see kind of sort of the pineapples starting over here, but this colorway is beautiful. I think it's going to do the pattern justice. So I'm really excited about that. This I threw together last night, again, so that I can have some WIPs for you. Because when I was doing my videos prior to my mom's surgeries, I kept having the same WIPs all the time, and or just didn't have any WIPs or finished objects because I never had time to crochet. I had time for yarn, always have time for yarn, but I didn't have time to crochet. So I wanted to have a couple extra things. So that's 3 WIPs. Then I have 2 more. I love some of these bags that came with different orders from different companies, but they're very thin, and I've had several of them fall apart, or like in the bottom the stitching has come undone and I've lost a hook. Well, thankfully I heard it fall, so I didn't actually lose it, but would have lost it had I not heard it fall. So that's why I'm saying I really need to learn how to sew so I can get some good quality material and make some bags. But Tammy, that is not me sending you any kind of secret messages, okay? So please don't take that as that. Tammy knows which Tammy I'm talking about. This one is the start of the Lilith. This is what I was going to originally do the confetti and the 7 mini rainbow colors in. But this one has it's only going to be 2 colors, but there are a lot of color changes, and I'm going to ask your opinion on this one. This is the start of it. It is a simple 2-row repeat. Nothing fancy, nothing anything. It's literally 1 row is the equal number of double crochets across, and then 1 is an increase row. So you do, 2. This one was not an increase row. Yes, it was. This was an increase row. I think there's 13 across now, but there's 2 in the first one, and then 1 single double crochet, or 1 double crochet all the way across, and then the next row is just repeating that equal number of double crochets across, and then the next row is an increase, and that's it. That's all this is, and it's just going, I forget how many inches long it is. This one I think has like 170 rows, something like that. Again, I'm changing it up because she did, this is Long Dog Yarn's yarn, not Shandy's yarn. Shandy used a DK weight of hers too. I think it's her Cash Silk DK weight. I don't know. I'd have to check the website because this is her pattern, and it was going to be her yarn, but this is a DK weight. But she used 3 hanks of her DK, whichever fiber base it is. It had 230 yards per hank, and then the second color, it was only 1 hank of it. So that was 4 hanks at 230 yards a piece. Again, she's much smaller, so I have to take that into account. So I got 4 hanks of the purple, and there's 250 yards of this one. I don't know if this DK is equal size as hers. Is it thinner? Is it thicker a little? I don't know. But I got 4 of these purple, and there's 250 yards, and the green I got 1 of, and again 250 instead of 230 yards. So I'm like this one, there were 20 rows of purple, and then it started with the every other row or whatever it was of green. I went to 24 rows, I think, and then instead of it being 1 row green, 2 row purple, I'm doing 1 row green, 3 row purple, because I have more purple and I want to make it longer. So I'm changing the color changes. But here's my, oh, and here's the green, in case you want to see it. So that's going to be, there's going to be like 1 row in between rows of the purple. Uh-oh, spaghetti-o. Yeah, that's, I don't like when that happens. That's the other thing that's very frustrating when you have it in bags, is because it tends to, oops, and now my octopus ring went to grab it. Anyway, and I am using a 5.5 millimeter hook. I can't remember what it is she called for, but it's what I felt comfortable with, and that's where I like the stitch definition on it. But my question for you is, and I would really appreciate if you would answer the question in the description box, I'm sorry, in the comment section below. When you change colors, like as I mentioned, this is going to be 1 row green next, and then I'm going to do 3 rows purple, 1 row green, 3 rows purple, and I may change it. So that's why I'm not going to be cutting the yarn yet. But you all know I hate sewing in ends, and with this particular pattern, if I did it where I actually cut the colors at the end of each row, I'd have 8,000 ends to sew in later. There are going to be pockets, I think there's going to be a couple of pockets where there's going to be another larger section of purple before there's another alternating purple green. But I don't have enough to try to carry it across, and I really don't like carrying it across because you can still see it. In a way, it could actually look pretty. Sometimes I think it can look pretty that way, depending upon, but I'm not going to have enough to be able to do that. Now, I've had some say, well, just carry it up. Well, I'm going to have a row of green, 3 rows of purple, so the 3 rows of purple are probably going to be this high, and then it's going to go back into the green. Some have said, go ahead and just carry it up, like drop the green, do the 3 rows of purple, and then just pull up the green. Well, that's going to leave a pretty decent size like loop on the side. I don't want that. But I did recently see, but for the life of me, I can't remember who it was that did the video, but they showed how they did like a twist at the end before continuing. So you still saw the color change on the side because you were still carrying it up, but it wasn't a fully loose, like it didn't look like, uh-oh, it's stuck by the label. It didn't look like there's a loop like that long being carried up. You know what I mean? What is the best way that you would suggest doing the color changes? Carrying it up or actually cutting it and having 8,000 ends to sew in? You know what I mean? Let me know in the description box below which way you would do it. Now, if it were going to be that I had like 3 rows of green, and then I was going to have like 15, 20 rows of purple, and then I was going to switch, then I'd obviously go ahead and cut it, and then I just start in a new color. But that's not the case. It's 1 row and then 3 rows purple, 1 row green, 3 rows, and then there's going to be a part where it's going to be 1 row green, only 2 rows purple, 1 row, 2 rows, you know, so it's not like there's a really large gap in between that it would make sense to cut the color each time. So let me know in the description box below the way you would do it, and if you have a simple explanation, a simple way of explaining it, that would be awesome. And if it's too wordy or lengthy or whatever the case is in the comment section, feel free to email me, or if you have links that you'd like to share with me of a video that you follow when you do it, that would be awesome. My email address is in the description box below. It's natalies.closet@yahoo.com. I would love that. That would be amazing. So that is WIP number 4. And then I have WIP number 5, which is And I keep getting the freaking animal wrong. It's the, oh, for crying out loud. I keep wanting to say the scorpion, but it's the stingray. This one is also on Shandy's website. It's called the stingray. She uses her lace weight yarn, and she uses 2 different colors, fading in as she fades in the second color. I'm only using 1 colorway, and she quadrupled the strand. Okay, I'm only doing 2 strands. I don't know if you can see that with my face in here or not, but I'm only doing 2 strands. Can you see that? I'm not doing the 4. She did the 4 because this is going to be good for I also wanted it to be larger, and she only used 2 hanks. So 2 colors, but 2 hanks. And she used 4 strands at a time. She did that to make it thicker so that it was a warmer cowl or shawlette. I'm planning, even as a shawlette or a cowl, one that fits her is still not going to probably look right that same size on someone, like on me. So that's why I'm only doing the 2 strands, so I have a larger shawlette or cowl. But where was I going with this? I just totally lost train of thought. Anyway, so she did 4 to make it warmer. First of all, I'm in Florida, and if I end up selling it here, I highly doubt somebody's going to want it that like super snug warm, because we get like a cold snap. We get like maybe 2 weeks total out of the year where we may dip under 50 degrees during the day. Okay, yes, some people end up bringing out their parkas and everything else. That, to each his own. There's nothing wrong with it. If that's not me, but there's nothing wrong with it. But I figured it's probably going to be better this way. So it's still, believe it or not, I mean, that 2 lace weight strands is a fingering weight, but it's a really pretty pattern. It's called the Stingray because, can you see that? Because it's going to be the shape of a stingray. Now, hers seems to, I don't know, I'm going to wait until it gets a little bit larger to see if it's actually following the shape of hers completely. But this is like a freaking easy pattern. Oh yeah, Catherine, do you recognize, oops, the stitch marker? Anyway, easy 1 row repeat. I mean, seriously, it's just increases. That's all it is. It's all double crochets and chain 2s. But like here, it started out with hold on a second. 2 doubles, 2 doubles, 2 doubles, 2 doubles. And then this row, it started out with, you did 2 doubles in the first stitch, and then a double in the previous double, and then 3 doubles, chain 2, and that's your center, 3 doubles, 3 doubles, and then you went, and then you increase to 4, and that's all it is. It's double crochets increasing with chain 2s. Simple pattern. I love it. Yes, I could have probably done more. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, but again, I love this colorway. I think it's beautiful, and it's so soft. So soft. And it's fun working with the 2. I'm using a 4. Where's my hook, guys? She calls for a 4mm hook with 4 strands of the lace weight, which 4 strands is what, a DK weight? Lace, fingering, DK, or sport DK, yeah. 4 strands is a DK weight. She's suggesting a 4mm. I'm using, normally anything anybody suggests, I always go 1mm bigger because I tend to have a Hulk grip or tension. I have been actively trying to loosen my tension, so I've been only doing now 1/2 millimeter bigger. She calls for a 4 millimeter with 4 strands, so I'm actually doing a 4 millimeter with 2 strands. And so far, I think it's coming out really nicely. I think the stitch definition is great. The only thing is she started out with a chain 7 slip stitch in the first stitch to make a ring, and then you made 8. Well, you did a chain 3 and then 7 double crochets for a total of 8, because that chain 3 is included as a stitch. But I tried it, I don't know how many times, and I still get this little, I mean, it's like an actual, can you see it? It's an actual ring up here. I mean, I worked around the tail, but it's actually a little ring up there still. And I know it's supposed to like basically flatten out, but that's the only thing that's kind of like weird to me. Uh-oh. Did this stitch marker pull? That's weird. That double crochet looks wonky. I don't know. But I do have to be careful because my hands are still really dry. And this yarn on its own has kind of a... I'm not going to pull it out of the bag because every time I pull it out, it unravels. And that's... Okay, maybe I will. Gingerly. Like very gingerly. The yarn itself has a slight halo. I don't know if you can see it, but it does. So with dry hands, it can get a little touchy. So I do have fingerless gloves. Honestly, oh my gosh, Sigal, if you watch this, can you please message me and remind me what measurements I was supposed to give you for my hands? I have fingerless gloves. They're supposed to be compression gloves. So not compression. And I always have to push up the middle finger because as I'm crocheting, it's always getting underneath the finger, you know, the glove, and it gets frustrating. But it does seem to help not drag the yarn on any part of my dry skin. So anyway, I do have the card for, or the label for this particular lace weight yarn. The colorway is Botanical, and it's the Wisp lace, W-I-S-P. It's 75% superwash merino, 15% cashmere, 10% silk, and there's 840 yards. So she was quadrupling it. She said either to make 4 equal sized cakes, or to do 2 separate or 4 balls, or 2 wind each hank, and then use the center and the outside strands to make the 4 strands. I'm only using the center strands for it, so I'm actually using the entire 840 yards versus sorry, my mom just messaged me. I just wanted to read it really quick. I apologize for that. I'm using the entire 840 yards, whereas she's actually using 420 yards. So I'm hoping that I should get at least twice the, well, maybe not twice the size, but I should get a slightly larger shawl. I'm just hoping, or shawlette. I'm just hoping it's coming out right, because so far it's not looking like the pictures that she has, but I'm not going to worry about it yet. This is, are you seeing it? I think you are. That is the label for that one. So those are my WIPs. I am hoping to have all of them worked up a little bit more by next week. Or I may end up focusing on 1 or 2 more than the others. And I also want to start the Graceful and the Sweet Pea. The Sweet Pea, though, I'm finding I have the 3 hanks of the pearlescent fingering yarn that she uses, but she also only uses 3 hanks. but it does look very long. And you actually work up, I think it's like 300 and some odd chains across. So you're actually working across, and then, I mean, you start out across and then you're working your way down, and it's like 17 inches, I think, wide or deep or whatever, 17 and a half inches deep by I forget how many inches long. So I'm hoping, no, I'm sorry, that's the graceful top. But I swear the sweet pea. So I'm hoping I'm going to have enough yarn for it to end up coming out long enough. Or that that shawl will just end up having to, you know, I'll put the dimensions and it'll just be something I sell. Which, I mean, I'm selling all of them. But anyway, so what I was starting to say is I'm hoping to start those two at least, to have them going, because I like having a variety of things I can work on so that I never lose my interest in any one thing. And seeing as though two of them have color change, yeah, two of them have color changes, that in and of itself will keep it interesting. But please, in the description, what is my problem? In the comment section below, if you can please let me know how you would do the color changes in the Lilith with the green and the purple. If you would carry up, if you have a way to twist it so that it's not just one longer loop on the side, or if you have videos you would like to link, go ahead and send them to me in the email address that's in the description box below. That would be awesome. I greatly appreciate it. The times that I have done color changes, I've always had to actually cut it and then start over just because of the way the pattern worked. So I haven't done a lot with the carrying up, and that's where I just want to make sure I do it so that it actually looks good and doesn't look sloppy, if that makes sense. Because I also I don't have enough yarn to carry it across, you know, plus that would make it thicker in that whole, yeah. So I would love it if you guys would help me out with that. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you have any ideas for the Chris shawl, which was the one with the confetti yarn and the 7 mini hanks that I said I had, the colors, you know, the rainbow colors, as far as how you decide how large or small your color sections are before you change. Does that make sense? And I'm not necessarily looking to have it 10 rows, 10 rows, 10 rows, 10 rows, 10 rows of each color. I have no problem doing 15 rows to start, like with the purple. I had like, I think that was like row 11. I can't remember for sure, but I have no problem doing, you know, 10 rows and then 5 rows of, let's say, the confetti, because the confetti I have plenty of. So that, you know, that would be good to have larger sections in. And then, because I was actually thinking of doing larger sections of the confetti and then doing a smaller stripe of the color. But I also wanted to look good. So if you guys have ideas, I know I just went into this way longer, but if you guys have ideas on that, please leave them in the comment section below. That would be awesome and so very, very, very much appreciated. So I think that's basically it. I will see you guys on Friday, unless I happen to pop on with a live tomorrow, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. So I will see you on Friday with Getting to Know You. So any comments, suggestions, questions you may have, make sure to go ahead and leave them on any video since last week's Getting to Know You, and they will be incorporated in this week's. So I appreciate you all so incredibly much. You guys are so amazing and so awesome. I always say I have the best community, you know, the best YouTube community out there, or group out there. At least that's what I think. But remember, for every season, there's a reason to crochet. I love you all dearly. Prayers to you all. Love, big hugs. And Miley says hi. She's on the bed and being quiet. See, if I'm in the other room doing this, she doesn't necessarily mind. But if I'm in that room, I'm ignoring her. So then she has an issue with it. But she says hello to her peeps, and I will see you guys on Friday. Have a safe and healthy rest of your week. Love, hugs, and prayers to you all, and just stay amazing. I love you guys dearly. Have a great day. Bye.